Like I said, then if it fades, all that shit, you just peel it off.
5 years for city hall,
Right. And if it's a sunflower for a while, great.
27
Oh,
this year. And then, I also have another
He gets so mad he can't turn it off.
no.
for
You'll
57,
hurt Mike. I was like,
57,
oh.
whatever, and so we may have asked.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Jan is looking at me like it's time, so it's time. Thank you, Jan. It's time to call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Mayor Barnett,
Present.
Mr. Austin.
Here.
Ms. Gross.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Please stand for the pledge. All right, good evening, everyone. Do appreciate you attending the meeting. Is there any announcements or public comment that does not pertain to the agenda? Yes, ma'am. Please go up there and state your name. And we do that because of the record, so we can get it on the recording, and also you're on YouTube.
Hi, I am Rebecca Pertobal. I had a small incident over the weekend. My sunk pump decided to die, and so my basement flooded. So I'm needing to get a dumpster, but they're not going to be able to get it to my parking pad because of the location. So I was requesting that I be able to have it parked on the street until Monday, so that way I can clean out all the stuff to keep anything from molding.
Yes, and I just want you to know, we do appreciate you coming and reaching out to planning department on what you can and can't do. And it looks like, talking with Ms. Tennell earlier today, that where you're wanting to put the dumpster is where usually a car can park anyway.
Yes.
So if you, we're good with that, and if you can put the plywood and under the dumpster,
Yes.
make sure they know to do that.
Hoosier Hauler already said I needed to double check with you guys, and something needed to be placed on the road to protect the road, such as plywood, possibly plywood with a tarp. So I'm glad everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, so.
As long as you don't ask us to help clean it out, that's,
No, I have teenage boys for
okay,
that. No,
that's
we're-
good. That's why you had them.
Yeah.
What is the address, please? so we can have-
168 Walnut Street.
Okay, so I am good with that. Do you have the time frame? You say it's this,
They should be dropping it off sometime Wednesday and then through Monday.
okay. All right, so, again, thank you for coming. I will make a motion to be able to place a dumpster in front of 168 Walnut Street from the period of this Wednesday till next Monday. And if it's not enough time for some reason,
I will let you guys know.
yeah, reach out to Mr. Jones at the street department, and he can help with that.
All right, thank you so much.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that has anything that doesn't pertain to the agenda?
Move to approve the meeting minutes, from March 3rd, Board of Works meeting, and also the approval of claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
There isn't any old business. We'll go right into new business. And since we're talking about dumpsters on the road, we did have the very first item is request approval of 30 to 40-yard dumpster on road in front of 70 Banna Street. I'll just stop there and say that Mr. Harmon called in and said that he wanted to take that off the agenda until further notice, and it may come back. So I will make a motion to take off the agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next one is approval request to set a date for the Merit Board member Joey Hollis election, April 15th, 2025, City Attorney Lynn Gray.
Thank you. Chief reached out to me. As you know, we have a merit board, and some of the appointments are done through the various boards, and there's also an appointment made by our officers. And part of the rules and procedures of the merit board rules and procedures require that the Board of Works set a date for the election. And the chief has recommended that the election date be April 15th of 2025. There's no specific time because we allow people to vote, our officers to come and vote during that date. So I would ask that you authorize the notification of the election for the officers to select their representative to the Merit Board for April 15th, 2025. Chief, anything to add?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Move to approve the election date of April 15th, 2025 for the Merit Board member Joey Hill's election.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, request approval of Resolution 25-04, recommending to the City Council certain capital projects and the issuance of sewage works revenue bonds. City Attorney Lynn Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. We're lucky tonight to have Rick Hall, who is our bond counsel, as well as Jeff Peters, who is the financial advisor to the city. This will also be on the city council agenda tonight, but this is part two. You'll recall I don't remember if you guys approved it, but the city council approved a minor resolution last time. But now we're really getting into the meat of issuing our bonds for the sewer department works that we're going to have. So with that, I would ask Mr. Hall maybe to give us an idea about the process, where we go, and then Mr. Peters, I believe, will be able to opine as to what we'll do with the money. And I know there was a question raised about whether or not this would affect the sewer rates that we've already put into place to cover those kinds of things. So that's why Mr. Peters is here. So, gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you. My name is Rick Hall from Barnes and Thornburg, as Lynn mentioned, and happy to be here this evening to work on this project. What the Board of Works has before it is a resolution that recommends to the City Council that the city issue bonds in the amount of $47 million, up to $47 million, and Jeff can provide you more detail on what the projected actual amount is. And that they would go to use, the proceeds would be used to pay the projects that are listed on Exhibit A of the resolution. So I don't know if you want to,
Yeah, we've
that's
got them up
helpful.
there. Yes, sir.
So the expansion of the plant, the West Side Interceptor and lift station, and then general sanitary sewer and manhole rehabilitation, then we also throw in a catch-all there of anything that's related. So it's a continuation of some of the projects from the 2020 bonds. The 2020 bonds would be on a parity with these bonds. And from a process standpoint, if you were to approve this resolution, then the council this evening would introduce a bond ordinance that would approve the issuance of the bonds. They could come back at their next meeting and finally approve that. From my understanding, the construction bids won't be in until sometime in mid-August. So between April and August, what we would do is go to the rating agencies and get a rating on the bond and approve an offer draft and have the working group comfortable with a offering document. So then once we get the construction bids, we can go and sell bonds. So never would the city issue bonds and then later find out their construction bids are too high or they've issued too much because the construction bids are lower than expected. So that's the general process. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I know Jeff has information about what this means financially to the city.
So I have one question with where you have there any and all related improvements. We're also looking at building a billing office. Would that be covered under that?
Would the billing office be in this building, or?
No.
No, it's part of the sewer department in upgrade on the
Okay,
sewer treatment plant. The billing office is out there as well.
yeah, if it's out at the
Yeah.
treatment plant, I would view it as covered by this project description.
Okay, and the reason I bring that up now, because we are looking at doing that. However, we're also looking at other alternatives, because I know between the sewer plant expansion and the West Side Interceptor, hopefully that we're within that range of pricing. But if we're lower in that range, then that's where we want to use some of the funds for the building. However, if not, then we'd want to come up with a different way that we think we can do that. So I just want to have options. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this would give you flexibility to do that, because it talks about improvements to the existing plant. I think anything that you do out there is going to be covered. And then as you look down to number 3, you know, you have general sanitary sewer and manhole rehabilitation. So if there's other projects in the city, that gives you a lot of flexibility to fall within that number 3.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I have a question, and it might be for Mr. Peters instead. I just want to verify that the bond payments for this can be made under the existing residential and commercial rates without increasing those rates again.
Short answer is yes. The rates were approved last fall, and they anticipate that we would do $47 million in bonds to do $46 million in projects and amortize that across a 20-year period. Because we talked to the council about, did we want to do 25 or do 20? The rates were set at 20. The ordinance that the council is going to see later this evening gives the ability to go out to 25 years, and it also gives an interest rate up to 7%. Neither one of those do we think will happen, but we're not going to market and sell these bonds until September. So I wanted to have, as the mayor said, as much flexibility as possible. If something strange happens between now and then, we'll bring it back and, you know, make those decisions as to, are we going to go a little bit longer on time? Do we have enough in interest rate, et cetera? But as of today, what we would anticipate is the rates as they're currently there are sufficient to cover this debt amortized clear down to 20 years.
And
No increase.
would it be a fair assessment or fair presentation, say, that's the reason we raised the rates, knowing we had to do these types of improvements? I mean, it was all part of the plan.
Yes, the rate increase was specific to these projects, particularly numbers 1 and 2. Again, 3 and 4 are in there to use any additional money, because whenever we go into these projects, we have the engineers make estimates, and they'll also have contingencies. If we don't use those contingencies, we'll have additional money. And as Mr. Hall said, we want to have the good construction estimates in hand before we actually sell the bonds in September, so that we'll have a good idea outside of the contingency what the projects will cost.
Okay.
Tina, the difference between the 20-year and the 25 was it saved us $8.5 million.
But what if something crazy happens with the construction estimates and it comes in way over what you're able to do under the existing revenue amounts? Would you
Then what I would anticipate, and again, we would have that discussion from the administrative side, but I would assume that you will do the treatment plant. Whatever is short on the west side interceptor, we would probably go to the redevelopment commission and ask for use of TIF funds. One, you have TIF funds available, but you also have different TIF revenue streams that we have captured over time that have not been leveraged toward bonds. So we could pick, you know, Area A, Area B, or Area A and B together, issue a bond to do one or all of these projects. If you wanted to, again, maintain the rate that you set last fall and not raise sewer rates additionally.
Okay.
So you've got good options either way and flexibility until we have better information.
And one of the, Rick mentioned, or Mr. Hall mentioned, fellow Cardinal there, by the way, mentioned the working group. There's been a working group that was together to try to plan, you know, you're kind of putting the funding out, and then you're putting the project, which Mark and Joanna were working on the project. And our sewer plant itself is priority one because we're reaching end of life.
Yeah.
It's been so long. And the thing you do not want to get into is to a point where you are then mandated to make your repairs and don't have the options that we have available to us right now. And so that was a concern that an issue to always be aware of, be in front of it, so that the EPA or IDEM doesn't come down and say, you have to do it, and you have to do it now, and you're not prepared. So I think we anticipated it would be up to $47 million, and that's what was calculated in the rates.
Okay, thank you.
And Jeff, just to go back and jog my memory a little bit, we're still one of the lowest rates in the county, is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah, when we went back and looked at those rates, when you reset your rates in 2020 to do the East Side Interceptor project, you were still way below anybody else in the county. Doing a project of this size only brought you up closer to the rest of those in the county and surrounding communities.
And I do know with conversations that I've had with surrounding communities, they're needing to pull the trigger on a rate increase.
Yeah, and we looked at that in the fall. We had a couple that they had not had rate increases for quite some time, so by now they may have already increased it again.
Right, so I just wanted to make sure we got that out there, that even though our rates went up back in September, October, whatever that was, we're still one of the lowest in the county. So, okay. Questions for Jeff?
I have none. Thank you, Jeff, for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what we need is a recommendation to the city council to move forward.
Correct, we're asking approval of your resolution that recommends exactly that, they move forward.
So I'll make a approval of Resolution 2025-04 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item, request acceptance of quotes for the 2025 Cemetery Roadway Improvements Project. Request award of construction contract to Robertson Paving Incorporated as the lowest, most responsive, and responsible quoter, and request execution of the contract agreement. Assistant City Engineer Matt McElroy.
Thank you. Yes, this is a project in the cemetery where we're going to seal coat, reconstruct 2 roads, and then re-gravel about 3 roads in there. So we sent out quotes to 4 contractors, and we had a quote opening Friday, March 7th. I'll go ahead and read those quotes into the record. We had McGath Concrete in the amount of $124,262. All-Star Paving, $94,709.96. Robertson Paving, Inc., $93,517.10. And we had a 4th contractor that provided a quote. And the engineer's estimate was $97,945. So at this time, I'm requesting acceptance of the quotes, notice of award to Robertson Paving as the lowest, most responsible quoter, and then execution of the construction contract with Robertson.
And just real quick, so the board knows that we've worked with Robertson Paving quite a bit, and they're very responsible and do a good job working with our team.
Yeah, they've done a lot of our alley projects over the years, so.
I'll move to approve acceptance of the quotes for the 2025 Cemetery Roadway Improvement Project and award of construction contract to Robertson Paving Incorporated as the lowest, most responsive and responsible quoter, and along with the execution of the construction agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you on that one, Matt. Next one, request acceptance and execution of the following documents related to Phase 2 of the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project. Matt McElroy.
Yeah, this is going along with what was recently discussed about the West Side Interceptor. This is basically to obtain easements for the construction work once we finally bid that project or go into construction. We received 4 parcels paperwork, so this is basically just requesting acceptance and execution of those documents related to that Phase 2 interceptor. And I think with these 4, I think that brings us to 4 left, which we hope to see by the April 7th Board of Works, and that should finalize all the easements required for this project.
It's a lot of easements.
There have been a lot of them, sir.
I can tell.
Yes, there have.
So I'll just add to that, talking about the easements. We as a city have done a lot of work, and Jeff's here and he can testify to this. We've done a lot of work without bonding and buying these easements. We have paid through that, through our wastewater treatment plant, and not used our funds that we're going to bond for that would take away from the West Side Interceptor. So we've been able to take care of that along the way. And by implementing our funds, the increase last September, October, preparing for this time, that's how we've been able to pay the cash and not go in debt to buy the property, so.
I'll move to accept and execute the following documents related to Phase 2 of the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project for parcels 6, 7, 9, and 24.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Matt, here comes the nice one.
Oh, yeah.
Request the following subdivision performance bonds to be released for the Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 3 and Section 4, and request the following subdivision maintenance bond be accepted for the Bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 3 and 4.
Joanne is not going to tap in, Matt. I
No,
can tell
no,
you that.
she
She's not.
put me on this one.
No, she will not.
Specifically. So, yeah, the following, we're requesting the following subdivision performance bonds be released for Section 3 and 4. So in order, performance bonds for Section 3, we have SU 1176973 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $216,300. SU 1176977 for streets, $848,343.60. SU 1176978 for sidewalks, $316,478.40. SU 1176979 for survey monuments and street signs, $31,422. Performance bonds to be released for Section 4, SU 1188925 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $204,900. SU 1188927 for streets, $775,062.00. SU 1188928 for sidewalks, $265,332. SU 1188929, survey monuments and street signs, $27,072.00. All right. Now I'm requesting the following subdivision maintenance bonds be accepted for Section 3, 268193 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $45,062.50. 268194 for streets, $176,738.25. 268195 sidewalks, $65,933. 268196 for survey monuments and street signs, $6,546.25. Maintenance bonds for Section 4, 268197 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $42,687.50. 268198 for streets, $161,471.25. 268199 for sidewalks, $55,277.50. 268200 for survey monuments and street signs, $5,640.
Did you
Could
get
you repeat that?
Jan?
You might have to repeat that last part.
Wow.
Okay.
So the appropriate motion would be to release the bonds as recited by our city engineer and accept the maintenance bonds as also recited by our city engineer.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next item, request approval of amendment number 3 to the public-private agreement and bill of sale for the Fire Station number 21 remodel expansion project. City Planner Joanna Tennell.
Good evening. As the mayor mentioned, this is the third amendment to the public-private agreement for Station 21. All of the construction has been completed and final payment has been made to Envoy. So this document is ready for execution, and we're requesting that the mayor sign on behalf of the Board of Works.
To refresh everyone's recollection, remember this was a build, operate, and transfer type of an agreement we reached into. The first being the build, the second being the operate, and then the final being the transfer. This is the transfer part. So after we've paid everything, it's up and running, then the contractor transfers the property back to us, along with all of the warranties, the inventory, everything that is there. So this puts it back in our hand once we've signed off on it, and I believe we've signed off on all the things being done, and I know we've paid, correct?
Yes.
And we do have some warranty work that we're currently working with them on to get corrected,
Yeah,
correct?
there's a couple of warranty items, which includes some concrete work in the bay and then some plumbing work that's being
And-
taken care of.
And pursuant to our original contract, the warranty work survive, what they call survive the terms of the agreement, so we're still good there. We're just getting the property back.
Okay.
Move to approve amendment number 3 to public-private agreement and bill of sale for Fire Station 21 remodel expansion project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I believe we also need to authorize the mayor to sign the bill of sale.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you with that one, Joanna. We'll go on to request approval of the personal services agreement with USI Consultants Incorporated for updating the 2013 comprehensive plan. It's senior planner, which is soon to be planning director, Joanna Tennell.
Yes, so before you is a professional services agreement with USI Consultants, Inc. Corey Daly is here representing USI, should you have any specific questions for him. This is an update to our current comprehensive plan, which was updated in 2013. It does include within the document of how we are going to proceed, including the focus groups, to go over specific topics. What we will do with those is we will identify the individuals or corporations that would be providing most of the information, and then reach out to them to see if they would like to participate in those focus groups. Those key topic areas are economic development, schools, downtown district, industrial development, and agricultural interface, parks, impacts of US 31 corridor improvements, because that's going to substantially change from what we currently have, housing choices, and public art. And there is also going to be a public open house prior to the adoption of the plan for the public to provide input in the process, and then it will be final drafted before it goes to Plan Commission, which would have a recommendation that's forwarded to City Council for adoption. This professional services agreement is for $130,600, and we currently have it budgeted in the planning and engineering budget.
And Joanna, if I remember correctly, Corey Daly was part of our last one. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's,
Yep.
yeah, that's what I thought. So in 2013, you was part of that, which that's good. And I think maybe Katie at USI, was she part of that at that time or not part of that at
She
that
was
time? Okay. I thought she was at HWC at that time, so. Okay, so we have familiar parties to work with the city before, so.
That's great. Move to approve the professional services agreement with USI Consultants Incorporated for updating the 2013 comprehensive plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Joanna. Okay, next item under other business, I will make a motion to approve to file liens on the unkept property as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Gets us to department reports. Mark Richards is going to be the last one to report. So, just so you know, Mark, you're going to be last today.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll start down here with Chip.
Thanks, Mayor. No pressure. We are looking for 2 landscaping people. What? I laughed this morning when I said that too. We're looking for 2 landscaping people. If anybody knows anybody that's interested in landscaping, we have 2 part-time jobs open. If you recall, the flower people that we had last year both retired. And I've spent the last 9 months looking for people that want to do landscaping and can't seem to locate even one person. So if you know somebody, if you could get that out there, we'd appreciate that. On top of that, our aquatics director resigned this past week, so I'm also looking for a summer pool manager. So if anybody knows a teacher that's interested in a summer job, we pay really well because we're desperate. Just get that out there. That's a job we'd love to fill. If not, Chip gets to do it, so he's very motivated to find somebody. And I want to give you an update on the Active Adult Center. If you haven't been over lately or snuck in lately, it's all drywalled up and painted. The doors have already been installed. The 2 final doors are being installed this week, I believe. And then the exterior brick is done. They're doing a little bit more exterior work. It actually looks like a building now when you walk in, so it's very close to being done. I still think it's going to be sometime in May, probably, before it's done. We'll plan to move in. It'll take us probably a month to get everything situated and moved in, and then we'll probably plan a ribbon cutting sometime right after July 4th. So that was the update.
All right, I'll use my 2 minutes to help Chip out. He's looking for some landscapers. On a side note, one thing what I did want to address is with the opening of his second golf cart business we have in town, it's brought to light a lot of issues that are starting to pop up with some different golf carts on the road and who can drive the golf carts, how fast they can go, what roads they can cross on. Children on golf carts under 48 pounds that are, or those that should be in a car seat. So what we're going to do is put together, we actually have started it. We're going to put together a little something for social media and push it out to the local paper as well. Just reminding folks that there is an ordinance in place. And we're also considering dropping some of these off to both those golf cart companies so they can at least maybe help us distribute some of this information. Because I think folks are just misinformed when they're going to look at these things.
Yeah.
And without a lot of knowledge, or making a purchase on something that they don't even know what the rules are. So we're working on that because we are starting to see an influx of issues with them. So, other
Chief,
than that-
I would tell you, when those golf cart companies came in to get their variances and get their approvals, it was made very clear to them that there was an ordinance. We, in fact, at the BZA level, talked about that ordinance, so dropping in on them and reminding them of what was very clearly stated is probably a great idea.
Yeah, Thank you.
They're aware.
Thanks.
Deputy Chief Preston Stark.
We had 2 new hires start today. They're going to complete their orientation this week, and then they'll be on the streets next week. So we're excited to have them. That's all I got.
Did you tell me that has you down just one?
Just one. That last person is going through perf next week. So within a few weeks, we'll have him, and knock on wood, we'll be full staff for a little bit.
And when we say down one, we last year added 3.
Correct. Yeah. So we're still just trying to.
Yeah, we're still
get to
trying
that
to fill
fill.
that. So
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank
Thank you. Cherry?
Just busy with liens right now. It's that season. And I just wanted to let Mark know that I appreciate working with you over the years, and I know this is your last board meeting. So Godspeed.
Okay. Rick?
I don't have anything, sir.
Krista?
Just a couple things. We do have a closing date set for the purchase of the Sandor property for the expansion of Scott Park. That is March 25th. And there are currently requests out to several different commercial dumpster enclosure companies to redo the dumpster enclosure near the Artcraft Alley. So we should have those hopefully beginning of April. We haven't heard yet whether or not we got the owner-occupied rehab grant. They said sometime in March, so I'm guessing that will be the end of March. But just in case you were wondering, and we have a redevelopment commission meeting tomorrow morning.
Okay. Brett?
I just would echo Sherry's comments. Mark, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate it. look forward to seeing you outside of work more often, maybe as a part-time landscaper at the Parks Department.
2 of them.
Right, it'd still be work, but yeah.
Gail can go
But
too.
no,
You
appreciate
and
it.
Gail, you and Gail can
Gail
do
can
that.
go
That'd
too.
be
There you
a
go.
hell of
There
a
they are.
team. It'd be a great team, so, but no, I appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure, so.
Sally?
Yes, we talked about last meeting, I believe, the abandonment of a lift station down on South Old US 31. And our guys have been working on it for a couple weeks now, and we're almost wrapping that up. It should be cleaned up by the end of this week, and, our part will be done, it'll be safe. So, and thank you, Mark, for all of your help for everything. And we'll miss you, I'll miss you. I have to sit there mad, I guess, now.
Thank you, Sally. Jan?
Nothing, thank you.
Kara?
Later this week, I'm going to open up the Volunteer of the Year Award, so be looking for that on social media and please share. I will also post it on the website. And if you know an exceptional volunteer, send them my way. And Mark, thank you for everything. Pleasure to work with.
Tina?
You as well.
Definitely.
Mark, I didn't know this was your last meeting.
This is it.
This is it, huh? Well,
Can't tell by the smile.
it is a little bright there. Well, thanks for your service over the years. You've really done a great job in bringing the city along and doing some awesome projects.
Well, you have done your best to keep me on my toes. Questions, but that's okay.
Thank you.
Ken?
Mark, yeah, you've been amazing and done a lot for the city over the years, that's for sure. We've moved a lot of concrete and poured a lot of concrete and done a lot of things in the last 20 years. And I don't know, you haven't been here 20, have you?
8.
8. So, in 8 years, sorry.
Felt like 20.
You're not as old as I am.
That was Travis, the prior.
Travis, okay, well, no, anyway, no, Mark, you've been amazing, so absolute expert in your field and highly respected amongst everyone, so Godspeed, good luck, and have fun on your retirement.
Lynn?
Mark, boy, did we get lucky when Steve stole you.
Yeah, no kidding.
We were from Greenwood. We really did. You have just been exceptional at what you did. I really have enjoyed our debates. You've kept me on my toes. I've kept you on your, and I loved working with you. I wish you weren't going, but I am so happy you get to, because you earned every bit of it. And as good of an engineer as you are, you're an even better husband, father, and grandpa, and enjoy every moment with that little grandbaby. You've earned it, my friend. So good for you.
Okay, so you're going to get last say, so I want to say something good before you talk about me, because I don't want you saying a bunch of bad stuff about me, okay? So, no, it's been a pleasure to work with Mark, and I think every good mayor has works with good engineers, and works with good people all around, but the engineers, especially a person like me with infrastructure background and just working with you has been a pleasure. We've accomplished a lot for the city. Everything that's been accomplished is because of where it started with you. I might have this crazy ideal in my head, Mark, can we go do this? But you're the one that makes it happen and figures it out. So I'm going to miss you, buddy. Appreciate you. With that being said, and Mark knows this, Mark is the one that come to me and said, Matt is our city engineer. I have every confidence in the world that Matt is going to do a great job, going to fill right in. You've told me that, and you're there if there's ever any questions. So I feel like Matt and Mark have worked together the last year. You've kind of got that set up, and I appreciate you thinking of the city and doing that. And what we're going to do, just so for the record here, Joanna is going to become our planning director, and Matt is going to be our city engineer, so we're only going to have one city engineer and the planning director, and work with the rest of the planning department. We're in good hands, and we're in good hands because of Mark, okay? So you set us up good. I appreciate it. I will shut up. I just can't tell you enough without telling you how I appreciated working with you. And I remember, we got a couple good stories that Mark and I've had, but I probably can't say all of it, so I just won't.
No.
Yeah, probably shouldn't go there.
But it was fun. So,
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well-
Mark, and appreciate you.
Steve, I don't know if you recall this or not, but when I came down and Travis introduced me to you, my interview was basically, you shook my hand and said, "When can you start?" That was,
See, he didn't know I'd already did all that checking him out and did all that. That's why I knew he was the guy that we wanted to have here, so.
well, I have to say, I've had a great 8 years here. Appreciate everybody up here. Everybody in planning and engineering has been outstanding to work with. That short young lady right over there, she's been awesome. She taught me a lot. Don't know what else to say.
I know,
This 8 years has gone by so fast. Just seems like yesterday.
okay, I'm gonna admit something. Mark got me teared up not too long ago when he told me he's leaving, so I got him teared up tonight in public, just so everybody can see it.
Well, just don't adjourn the meeting, you can't go.
There you go. Matter of fact, when he gave me his resignation letter, I said, I'm not taking this.
No big
Throw
deal.
that back in the trash.
Yeah, we can fix that.
But I do intend to let my granddaughter teach me a few things, and look forward to enjoying retirement.
All right, before we adjourn, this is kind of unusual, but I think we all should stand.
I agree.
All right, Mark, you're done, right?
18 minutes left.
All right, well, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.